All right, billionaire Mark Cuban, a top Harris surrogate, is facing major backlash after calling the women around Trump weak and dumb. Listen.
Donald Trump, you never see him around strong, intelligent women, ever. It's just that simple. They're intimidating to him. He doesn't like to be challenged by them. And, you know, Nikki Haley will call him on his nonsense with reproductive rights and how he sees and treats and talks about women. I mean, he just can't have her around. It wouldn't work.
Well, he is now backtracking on X, saying, quote, "One, I know many strong, intelligent women voting for Trump, including in my extended family. I'm certainly not saying female voters are not smart, strong, and intelligent. Two, I know he has worked with strong, intelligent women like Elaine Chao, Kellyanne Conway, Ivanka Trump, and many others." Karoline Leavitt is a Trump 2024 National Press Secretary, and she joins me now. Karoline, good morning to you. So how would you like to respond to Mark Cuban?
Well, I think Mark Cuban yesterday learned the hard way not to mess with strong and intelligent Republican women who support Donald Trump. There was an epic amount of backlash from so many amazing women who have worked with President Trump, who are voting for him, saying this is extremely insulting. Just look at the women that President Trump surrounds himself with. First of all, his beautiful wife, Melania. Which of the 5 languages that she speaks would Mark Cuban like to have a conversation about him with on this? Look at the woman who runs our campaign, Susie Wiles, the woman who's running the transition back to the White House, Linda McMahon, or the women who President Trump tapped to run the RNC, Laura Trump. This was a ridiculous insult, not just to the women who work for President Trump, but the tens of millions of them who are going to be voting for him. But this is what the Kamala Harris campaign has resulted in. Mark Cuban is Kamala Harris's top surrogate, and then 2 days ago, you had her other top surrogate, Joe Biden, calling half of the country garbage if they support Donald Trump. It's demeaning, it's insulting, and we're running a positive campaign based on real joy and uplifting all Americans who want to make this country great again.
Yeah, and speaking of strong women, and I'm sure you don't want to make this about you, but you did have a baby a couple months ago. As the national press secretary for the Trump campaign, we're doing TV interviews about 3 days later, so just wanted to point that out as well. Politico had a headline yesterday. This came out. Mark Cuban shows Democrats what they've been missing. The reality show billionaire is delivering a Harris-Waltz message more effectively than the Democrat ticket. And then about a couple hours later, he's got to walk back the comments he made on The View. Kamala Harris is going to be asked about this today, and this could give her an opportunity to say something positive about the women in the Trump campaign. Do you think she'll take that opportunity?
I'm sure she won't. And honestly, I'm not even sure she will be asked about this because the mainstream media covers for Kamala Harris and they don't hold her to the same standard that they hold Donald Trump. Just a few days ago, a comedian made a joke in very bad, poor taste, which our campaign said, and the media went ballistic for 3 days asking Donald Trump what he thought about it. Of course, the president condemned it, but Kamala Harris is not held to that same standard. When her co-partner in every decision she's made, Joe Biden, calls more than half the country garbage, she came out and gave a very lackluster condemnation of those comments. I'm sure she won't be asked about this, but she should be, or she should take it upon herself. Go to a microphone today, Kamala Harris, and condemn this disgusting insult on more than half of the females in this country who want to support Donald Trump. And while you're at it, tone down the rhetoric on the Democrat Party, too, because it's led to real political violence in this country, including 2 assassination attempts against President Trump. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz have likened President Trump to some of the worst mass murderers in history, comparing him to Hitler, calling his supporters fascists. Again, this is just what the Democrat Party has become, the anti-Trump party who hates Trump so much that they also despise the tens of millions of great Americans who support him. And it's truly sad to see.
Yeah, okay, so yesterday Kamala Harris was in Nevada. She was campaigning with Jennifer Lopez, who did bring up those comments that a comedian made at Madison Square Garden about Puerto Rico. Take a listen to what she had to say.
At Madison Square Garden, he reminded us who he really is and how he really feels. It wasn't just Puerto Ricans that were offended that day, okay? It was every Latino in this country. It was humanity and anyone of decent character.
What's your reaction to that?
Look, I actually like JLo. I think she has a lot of great songs, but she's wrong on this, and she's wrong in her endorsement of Kamala Harris, who has threatened the rights of women over the past 4 years, the right of a woman to go for a run without being raped and murdered by an illegal immigrant, the right of a woman to compete in athletics and not have the fear of competing against a man. President Trump is the better choice on the ballot for women and for all Americans this election, and Kamala Harris can roll out all the celebrities she wants. It's clearly not moving people in the polls because they want a real leader who has real solutions to fix the everyday problems in their lives.
Well, I understand in response to the comments that Mark Cuban made, the Trump campaign has launched a women's tour that's going to take place in Atlanta, Georgia this weekend, and you will be there along with other strong women. Thank you so much, Karoline, for joining us. We'll be looking out for that. Have a great weekend.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.